it's about time someone does something like that. Like if I had the developer for it, like I'd start getting into that kind of stuff, right? But because like that's what it's all about. Like Theta Network is so beyond. We're all caught up in the NFTs and all that, right? And that's a big part of my life too, obviously. But I mean, at the end of the day, that's not necessarily the bread and butter of Theta
Oh,
Network.
absolutely not. Completely
Oh
agree.
man,
They're
and the sleeping giants, my friend. Like
building a highway that no one's driving on yet.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Once those cars start fucking driving on them, it's game over. You know,
it's already
over.
built.
Popping and locking, Magnum scrutinizing, Papa Mags Podcast.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to episode 37 of the Papa Mags Pinecast. Mags, we're up to 250 days since we'd be told that we'd be getting our NFTs off a Theta Drop in a few weeks, and Pop and Mags, we're still locked up on Theta Drop.
We are. It's going to be a few more weeks, I'm told.
Going to be a few more weeks at a minimum here, but just wanted to let everyone know before we get into this that the Pop and Mags is officially throwing a Super Bowl box pool. So if anyone's looking to get into it, we got some boxes left. They're 500 T fuel each. Payouts for first, second, third, and fourth, and finals. So if you're interested, just give me Popper a DM. Don't bother Mags with this. He
Please
doesn't want anything to do with it.
Well, I got some squares.
Oh no, yeah, you just don't want to be bothered by it. This is my part of the job.
Yes, clearly.
So hey, I saw that we had another hack this week, dude.
We did.
It's unbelievable. Like it's the season.
That's why those hackathons are in vogue, right? In this space.
I didn't know that
different thing.
I didn't know the Theta Hackathon was happening right now. The Theta Drop Hackathon.
The Theta Drop Hackathon's happening weekly, it seems.
It sure seems like it, and it's always the same kind of thing. You know, feels like someone gets on there, makes a fake account, steals somebody's credit card, and then just goes on a little bit of a shopping spree.
Yeah.
The latest being Vigil. And hey, throwing some liquidity our way. Thanks, Vigil. I know. I feel like this is just a credit card chargeback waiting to happen. But he bought a few cans. People bought them.
People opened them.
Got a good deal.
I mean, I guess if there's a bright side of these hacks, people are, I guess, getting cheaper cans that literally cost more because somebody spent more for them, and then the cans are getting opened. So, yeah. I mean, obviously, it's not good, but I mean,
no, it's not good at all. But
you got to look at the bright side, I guess.
You take credit cards, and you open yourself up for credit card fraud. But speaking of Pines, pretty quiet week this week in Pines, but we did have one decent trade I'd like to get your take on here. We had Chief getting the King Camel face, and he traded the No Mercy PPK and the color camel green mummy to get it. A little 2-for-1.
Yeah.
What do you think about that one?
I think it was good for who got the King Camo, Chief?
Yeah, Chief got the King Camo.
I think it was good for Chief.
Yeah.
If you're asking me, I mean, the No Mercy is rare, but that crown, there's either 8 or 9 of them of that.
Yeah, the Kings are. Yeah, there's not many.
So No Mercy, I don't know, maybe 18, 20, maybe.
Oh, look at
blindfolds. So I mean, that's not comparable, I don't think. But then again, I guess we'll just get into that. It doesn't matter anyway because the ranks are all wrong.
Well, hold on before we get there. I mean, so honestly, without any rarity or knowing anything about it, just looking at them, I like the No Mercy PPK. I like the color of that one.
Yes.
I love that blindfold. Yep. It's really nice. Not a huge camel face fan, but if I'm making this trade, I want the King. Right?
Can I just do a side note question? We've had debates about this type of thing before, but what the fuck's the difference between the PPK and the Beretta?
I don't think there's too much of a difference, but I think that there is some finer details in the Beretta versus the PPK.
You think so, or so?
I think I've heard so. So there was one other Pine news that I wanted to get your take on. I saw that URP had a conversation with Rare Robot about one of those T-Fuel floater pines that you had, the skull. And I heard that he was going to fix the metadata. and it turns out he took the floater out of the hair and made it a regular floater. What happened there?
I didn't know. Okay, we're talking about this. Okay, so you sold me down the fucking river. I was at work. I was actually really busy, and I get and I was chiming in earlier in this other pineapple room I'm in with you and some others, and you were like, "Hey, they're talking about they're gonna fix your trait. They talked to Rare, and so like finally." You need to check it out. So like all my notifications are muted. So then I go back and I see like I got like 3 notifications in that room or whatever. And I go to look and I was like, okay, I like where this is going. Like. And then URP showed a conversation he had with the Rare robot saying, hey, Magnum's skull with the T-fuel and the hair, we need to get that fixed. Magnum wants it fixed, so it's just a T-fuel floater. And he goes, no problem. And then sent a new JPEG image of the skull without the T-fuel in the hair, and it was a floater actually next to him. And he says, tell Magnum, don't worry, it usually takes a couple days to update. And I basically gracefully lost it, I guess, at that point.
Yeah, so the point was you wanted the metadata updated. You didn't want it to be called the T-fuel floater. You wanted it to be called T-fuel hair gel or something. And URP, after being dissed by you in the previous episode, your thoughts on
what diss? That wasn't a diss.
It was an offensive defensive thing about Pintori. Like you didn't want him to get Pintori back. So.
Yeah. Oh, major crime. My God.
Listen, hey, we don't mess with URP, and this is what happens.
Well, so then what happened was I left the server. Gracefully.
Yeah, as gracefully as you left ThetaCon floor when it was wet and we were getting yelled at.
Well, what do you mean? I was upset. I was busy. I didn't want to deal with it at this moment. And I left the room, and then there must have been some commotion breaking out after I left.
Yes, there was.
So I've since rejoined. URP, asked me to rejoin the group that we're in, and I have not scrolled up that far again. So whatever's up there is up there. I'm not.
I wasn't anything that big.
But so URP reached out to me afterwards, and like, did I deserve it? Probably. But I was telling
the timing on it was perfect.
Well, I thought I don't know why you set me up, your pal. Have you ever said Band of Brothers? My God, you just left me out to die right
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you would be the guy I'm counting on in the field. Yeah.
Well, so anyways, URP was like, oh, I think I took that too far, but you definitely deserved it. Which I always deserve a good trolling. Nothing wrong with that. I think the combination of me being busy,
you got.
I got by one of the best, maybe the best.
Oh yeah.
There, so
possibly.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, if that did change, there would have been a major rarity move in the calculations, and that can lead us.
That wouldn't have.
Oh yeah, right. Well, it would have in your mind.
Yeah, of course.
So, because right now it's a 1 of 1 as far as you're concerned, but
the attribute. Correct.
We did get some new rarity rankings this week.
Oh my God.
On Open Theta, and I'm dying to know your take on this.
Trash. 100% trash.
All right. So are you feeling like that for all of the rarities that you saw?
Let's just talk about this because TZC, friend of the Pinecast, Theta Zilla Club, shout out.
Yeah.
He did it for his Pixel or his Theta Zillas, right? The OGs, right?
Right. Yeah. Yep.
But he opted, as the creator, he opted in, but he didn't opt in for the Pixillas.
Right.
But anyway, so I have some Theta Dragons, and they opted in.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Right. So I had the number 3, which basically, according to, and well, here's another thing too. Theta Drop Rarity is no more. It's just, what is it? Theta Rarity now? They changed it over
Theta
the weekend.
Rarity.
So basically, on their system, mine was number 3, and there was like 2 customs ahead of it. So 1 and 2. And mine was 3, and it's weird because
this is your arm. This is your camo guy, right? It's an arm.
Right. He's there's only
horns.
Right. There's only 2 dragons with the army
fatigues?
uniform. Yeah.
Yeah.
And mine was better than the other one, but that one, the one I had was ranked 3. The other one was ranked 8. Now looking at these new rankings, mine is like 258, and his is in the 2200s. And of only two. I was going to say
Yeah.
dinosaurs. Only 2
Out of 2.
dragons.
Yeah.
You know, out of 3,333 dragons have that,
Yep.
and he's ranked 2200 something, and I'm ranked 258. I don't
get that.
I don't get that. And then also too, the other and I'm gonna call this bullshit. I don't know. I'm not blaming anyone. It must be in the metadata, but it's complete trash. Is because there is like is it like an accessory attribute or something on the? I should have had it pulled up on the Theta Dragons, but all the Theta Dragons that have like the tux or like the
the
jacket, they have a T fuel. They have a
pin with it.
T fuel pin, and so whatever category the pin falls under is the rarest of that kind by far, 19. But there's only 19 of all the ones that have that. Tuxedo,
they come together.
So essentially, that attribute is being factored in twice as like a rare attribute. When in all reality, it should be one and no attribute in the other. So
agreed.
So it's severely flawed IMO or IMHO usually from me.
No, ipso facto, I would say.
Right. So yeah, just trash city. And then like the other thing. So then the big debate happened in the pineapples, at least in that group that I rejoined. Right. With if the pines go through there, it's going to change a lot of things. And the big thing, I was talking with Mac, also a friend of the Pinecast for some reason. so Matchstick was like on his pineapple rarity, which is like before Open
the OG,
right? They had an archetype for that. So it was either like a pineapple head, pine goo head, or a skull. Right. And those were the 3 archetypes. And so it's like an attribute within an attribute. But because the thing you got to understand is with the pine goos and the skulls, the pine goos can't have any props and pins. Right. I mean, they have technically they have an earring, but it doesn't show up in the data.
I think they all have it though. Yeah.
They all have it, but it all corresponds to the color of the frog or something.
Yeah.
Like if you have this color frog, you have this color whatever. You essentially though can't have a prop.
Yeah, it's a subsection. Yeah,
it's a subsection. And also too, I don't think there's any with hats either. There's none with hats.
Yeah, I don't.
So it's almost like it got limited also. But that wouldn't running it in this system would basically make them a lot more common.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
Right. And so the thing with the skulls is they don't have any eyewear on the skulls.
Yep.
So that affects that, which technically should be rarer than having it, but they count the stuff individually. So
yeah.
So all that being said, that's why it doesn't work for pines. It definitely doesn't work for Theta Dragons. So.
Yeah, no, I agree. There is absolutely no way that Pine should allow this rarity. If it's an opt-in, then absolutely not. I like the Theta Drop rarity. Every rarity is going to have some flaws in it inherently because people want to value things different ways. But the way it is right now makes sense to me.
Can I say something too? I don't know if you mind me sharing this story. I think I understand this story, and I remember you talking about this a while ago. About your Theta Punk.
Yeah. I was going to bring them up. Yeah.
So you and Theta, I remember you and Theta Zilla Club, 2 shout outs in this show. Can I just throw Sushi Cat in there just for, hey, Sushi Cat.
Sushi.
But anyways, so Theta Zilla Club and you, I think we're talking because like the ETH world, the NFTs, they have like similar rankings amongst different like ranking places I've noticed. And they have a rank, and you told me that the Theta Punks are based off the punks, the crypto punks.
Yeah,
right?
The original crypto punks. Yep.
So there's a rarity for that, and it was nothing like what Theta Drop Rarity, now Theta Rarity, had.
Yes.
So you and maybe Theta Zilla targeted things that were ranked lower because you knew that in this one, and that one probably makes sense because that's how it was done with the ETH stuff, right? I don't know what your opinion is.
the original CryptoPunks had a very strange ranking system, and I don't agree with it at all. But ThetaPunks just copied the original CryptoPunks. But I
Okay.
was looking into it, and there's other sites where you can go on and they do
Differ
their
a
own
little.
kind of ranking.
Yep.
And I was looking at it, and I'm just like, man, there's 136 or something of these ThetaPunks that have 5 attributes. So out of 10,000, and most of them have like 3, 2. So I'm like, I'm just sorting by 5 attributes, and it's like this one's ranked like 6,500, and it's on the floor, and it's got 5 attributes. Like I guess I just don't understand why that would be the case. So I bought two. There was two specifically that were 5 attributors that I got for relatively cheap, just because they had 5 attributes. I was like,
Hmm.
these are more rare than this number's saying. So now when Open Theta Rarity ran these, both of them, one of them is ranked under 100, and the other one's ranked like 130 or something like that out of 10,000. So huge swings from where they were ranked.
Right.
So I honestly, there's still flaws with how it's working for that, because now like they have zombies in the collection, and all the
Apes.
zombies are like yeah, and they're
Yep.
not ranked as high as they were, and they should be.
Gotcha.
It's like the problem that we would have with Pine Goose.
Right.
So I think that Open Theta did a better job of ranking the Theta Punks for sure. There's still flaws, but I'm not a big fan of everything of the other ones. The right answer is somewhere in between.
And
I mean,
did they do the Tigons? And if so, that must be a disaster, right?
I believe that I saw that the Tigons were done. Yes, and I didn't look into
I'm going to
exactly
now. Go ahead.
how disastrous it was, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But for the Tigons, in my opinion, any ranking is kind of moot unless you are weighting the attributes that give you the higher
Multiplier.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean that should be playing a huge deal in this, because if something's like a top 100 rank, but it's you only get one multiplier, is that really a top 100 rank? I'd rather
Right.
have the high multiplier.
Absolutely. Yes, the Tigons did do the system.
Yeah.
So like I remember a while ago, and so Tigons, they can have like a crazy amount of attributes too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I had
Yeah.
one that a long time ago, and I wish I kept it. It probably didn't have anything good, but it had like 20 attributes. It was crazy. And but it like didn't show. So there's some room to fix stuff in this. But I guess, do you have anything to reassure anyone who purchased stuff?
Well, I wouldn't be too concerned about it, to be honest
Right.
with you, because I think that everyone is looking at these rankings and just, I don't think anybody agrees with them. I haven't met one person that's like, oh yeah, I'm glad they changed this, because the other rankings didn't make sense. I don't agree with it at all. It is kind of confusing. I could see how people could be getting upset, but in my opinion, this is coming down to a pissing contest between Open Theta and Theta Drop, or Theta Rarity.
Mm-hmm.
Theta Rarity wants to be a marketplace. Open Theta already is an established marketplace. Let Theta Rarity be the rarity site. They're doing a great job on it.
Yeah, and is that a little? I mean, that's a little like, if the place that's selling it is the one also rating it, that seems like like a little conflict of interest. No.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
Not sure how I feel completely about that, because Tigons weren't sold there, but but Theta Drop Rarity, they're also trying to be a marketplace as well.
Well, it looks
And
like
I
they're
think
both trying to
that's
do the
where
same thing.
Theta Drop Rarity is trying to get into what Open Theta is doing, and Open Theta in return is now trying to do what Theta Drop Rarity is
pissing
doing.
contest, like you
That's
said.
what I said.
Got it.
Exactly. It's a
I
pissing
thought you were talking
contest.
about a different type of pissing contest, but that makes
No,
sense.
not yak piss. Not yak piss. No, so I think each of them should stay in their own lanes. I mean, personally, I'm from what I understand, Theta Drop Rarity is using a custodial wallet for their marketplace, meaning that I don't have the keys to the wallet. So I'm not sure who's doing that. We're trying to get our NFTs off of Theta Drop, and I'm not trying to get them off Theta Drop so I can get them locked up on Theta Drop Rarity. So that to me doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So I think they should stick to rarities, and Open Theta should stick to marketplace, and let's just continue on as we were a week ago.
Yeah, I mean, and just one more thing to finish this up is, we bash Theta Drop, when we have
Only
to.
when needed.
Right. But like the thing is though, like even though this custodial thing is not my ideal thing, and obviously I want to carry them, I feel safe that where they are.
Yes,
You know
agreed.
what I mean?
100%.
So it, to save a few percent on fees doesn't, that's not making me
Absolutely
feel
not.
warm and fuzzy. I think that's kind of the point also.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I'd rather have my NFTs on Theta Drop stuck than some other unknown, for sure.
Exactly. Right.
But speaking of Theta Drop, there was another drop on Theta Drop this week. I'm not sure if you saw it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I knew it was there. I didn't look. I saw the emails. Delete.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a bit disappointed, to be honest with you. I think it's pretty ridiculous that we're now on the third drop of the Golden Knights. And what have they done for the community since the first drop?
The best thing I did was sell my first Golden Knights pack for like a $10 loss, like right after the drop that I opened. So, I was lucky enough to get like close to what it cost me, I think.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm just super disappointed, man, because the utility that they're claiming, like access to gamers and this and that, we should already have that. Everybody that's already bought in should already have that. So let's just take a walk down memory lane here. So first drop was April 10th of 2022. It was 1,000 packs at $100 each. So that's $100,000 if I can do math. There was also two auctions. One went for $1,700, the other one for $850. So they made out over $102,000, $102,500 from the first drop, and that was on April 10th. Shortly thereafter, they did a challenge, and the challenge was for draft passes for the NFL draft. That's pretty cool, right? 3 sets of 2 tickets, dude. The draft was on April 30th. So for real, like that's you got 2 weeks to decide that you're going to go do something. And I don't know, like that's just. How many people are on Theta Drop? 1,000, 1,500? So you're going to try to find
active people too,
right? Yeah, not even. There's probably less than that. So right. It's just ridiculous. So then the second drop was on July 23rd. It was 500 packs at $50, so another 25,000 and another 600 at auction. So between the two, they pulled in $128,000, and that drop was July 23rd. They did a challenge, and it was for tickets to a road race, completely unrelated. They must have found them somebody had given them to them or something, and it was for that weekend. It's like these are the worst challenges in the world.
Well, and it wasn't. You didn't know. We didn't know about that until after the drop. Like there was like no notice when they said. That these challenges were going to happen, about what the challenge was you were going to win, right?
It was like the challenge was on Monday, and it was the tickets, you had to claim them by Friday.
But you didn't know, I
didn't even know what it was. I was trying to look it up to see what it was.
But what I'm saying is we didn't even know that prior to the drop that challenge even existed.
Exactly. Right. So the other things that they've done was they did have the play online with Wiz, which Swampy
disaster
did.
Well,
it was a disaster. Yeah, it was like a random Thursday.
Swampy, he spent money, and people like we've talked about these redeemable date NFTs.
Yeah. Well, there's still road race ones that are out there unredeemed, and there's still draft passes that are unredeemed too.
Get another date. Like people legitimately like could see that someone's selling that and spend a bunch of money on it. And I think I told you, I was like, oh, that seems cheap. It was $100 to play a video game with Wiz, and you're like, bro, there was only 3 of them. One got used, and it expired like right away.
It's expired.
Hey, it expired. The timeline was terrible. Why are they allowed to sell? Why are people allowed to sell them on the marketplace? Like it's one thing if you want to. It's one thing if you want to list it for like $1 million and hope someone bites and no one does, then that's tough on you. You know what I mean? Like that's one thing.
Well, I disagree. You can sell it, but it should be clearly marked that this thing is unredeemable. It's no longer. You've passed. It's expired.
Right. Yeah. It's like it should
So
be
if someone
burned.
wants to buy it for some reason that it's expired, then let them buy it. But
Right,
like,
but they
just
don't.
mark it expired.
Yeah, but like, and how would you do a search for? You know what I mean? Like, it should be.
Yeah.
It should be where you have to click into a box that say, "I want to look for expired NFTs that I cannot."
Oh
redeem."
yeah.
Like they should
Because
not
it's no
come
longer
up
redeemable. Yeah.
ever. They shouldn't. People shouldn't be fooled to buying them.
I don't disagree.
But when you look at like the Wiz thing, it's like little that says like the date. You know what I mean?
Oh
It's
yeah.
not like
No, for
it's
sure.
not
Yeah, it's not broadcast properly. Agreed.
okay.
And I mean, so other than that, there was prints, and those so they were going to do, like, must be like metal prints of your Golden Knight thing,
Mm-hmm.
but those are expired now too. They expired at the end of the year, and people
Right.
didn't redeem them. There was 20 jerseys that they gave out. I know that Theta Zilla Club, shout out number 3,
Damn.
got one. He said that they were actually really nice jerseys, and that's the company he used, the same jersey company.
Oh,
to
for
create his.
right. I got one of his. Shout out again.
Did you really?
Yep, he saved me one.
What the? Hey,
Yeah, I got it
Theta
hanging
Zilla
up.
Club. What the deuce? Where's mine?
You didn't get one?
Ridiculous. No, I didn't get one.
He saved you one because he's like, that one's poppers, and you can have one of this one or this one. And,
Well, he never gave it to me.
okay, well, he had the best intentions.
Unbelievable, folks. All right.
Reverse shout out.
Yeah, take that back. And they did give away one Zippo lighter, if you remember that.
I do. And well, wasn't the one with the race where you found out you could get the tickets cheaper?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, people are buying the tickets on there. Oh yeah, no, there was tickets to and then they had 4 tickets to like an Orlando esports game thing, and it was like, you need these certain things, and it's like, oh, like this one's $150 at the time. Who knows what it is now? Maybe 20, but it was like $250, and it's like, oh well, why would I do that when the Zippo lighter is like $100 online? So
Right.
So what, it was like a 100th anniversary or something. So I mean, it was cool, but it was one. And
right. Well, and two, they don't. And I'm not like knocking any of the prizes, really, I guess, but they don't give enough notice that these are going to be the prizes, and there's no time to freaking react to it. It seems.
Well, dude,
like.
everything that we just went over as far as giveaways, they got $128,000 from the community. Like, is that coming anywhere close? Like, what?
Oh, for utility, right, yeah.
For utility, and like, are these things dead? Like, do they have any value? Because now we're getting dumped on again with these new ones. And I don't know if you saw the auctions for these ones, but there's a jersey on there of Evgeny Malkin. I mean, guy's a great Pittsburgh Penguin. I mean, very impressive player. But there's a Malkin jersey on there, and it says it's signed by him and the designer of whatever jersey. I don't know, I guess somebody designed it. And you look at it, and it's like scribble on there. And I'm like, what is this? This doesn't look anything like his signature online. Yeah. So I go look online, and it's like, dude, you can get a really nice signed Malkin jersey with a certificate of authenticity for $300. And the minimum bid on this one is $1,000.
Wow.
Like,
that sounds sus, right? As you say,
sus, major sus. Yeah. So I mean, who's buying that when all you can see is some artist scribble on Malkin's number? It's like, you got to make these are ridiculous.
That's Herbie Hancock.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was.
But yeah, I guess like it'd be fine if there was other prizes and people knew about them. It sounds like what you're saying. Like, there's nothing wrong with that as being right.
Well, I'm just
this
curious.
is a bid. This is a bid. You're saying.
Well, you gotta, minimum bid is $1,000. No one's buying that.
Yeah, who's buying that?
But I mean, I'm just curious, like, what in the world makes them think that anyone's gonna buy this when their track record of what they've given us based on how much we've spent with them is what it is. It makes no sense.
Yeah,
128 grand, dude, and they gave out maybe a couple $1,000s worth of prizes, and that's it. Like,
yeah,
I don't know why would they expect us to pony up more. That's what irritates me. This is just, to me, this is a cash grab. And I think it shows that people are caught onto it because they couldn't even sell out 800 at $50. So, all right. So I rant over on that one. But I did notice, dude, our biggest competitors, like, listen, I thought our days were numbered. I heard that there was a new podcast in town.
Oh boy.
You know, we had Rob Feldman in West Jersey coming after us, wanted to take the number one Pinecast away from us. And, you know, rightfully so. I was a little nervous.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were. I was partly nervous and partly hoping that they would just like kind of come and take it away from us.
Right. They said they were coming to take it from us, the number one spot.
I won't lie that, part of me wish they would, but
yeah.
They seem to have called it. I think they're hanging up their cleats after one episode.
Oh my God. I thought the Chevy Chase show, which only lasted 2 weeks, was going to be the best, the next late night thing. It only lasted 2 weeks, and I guess it's sad to think that the Chevy Chase show made it longer. Than the Jersey Shore with Rob Feldman.
Yeah, boy. Well, nice try, guys. A valiant effort.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that is pretty much all I got, man. All right. Well, listen, rant over on that, and let's kick it off to the next part of this. We had a great time with our guest this week. I mean, what a good guy too, into everything, talented, was at ThetaCon, and yeah, just probably doing his thing right now as we speak, making his the Daily Diamonds, the one and only Mr. Theta Diamond.
After these messages.
This week's episode is brought to you by Dr. Theta's Community Guardian Node. Theta's premier community guardian node where you can stake your Theta if you don't run your own guardian node. Best of all, 100% uptime so you do not miss any rewards and 0 fees so you earn 100% of your T-Fuel. Trusted by Theta Labs, you can easily stake directly within your wallet. Simply go to the Staking tab, choose Delegated Guardian Node, and find Dr. Theta's Guardian Node. Quick, simple, reliable, and best of all, safe, as the coins never leave your wallet. Stake with the Doc today. This week's episode is brought to you by Theta Vibes NFTs. Hurry on over to Open Theta and mint yourself a Theta Vibes musical NFT before the minting ends on February 15th. Each of the OG collection NFTs allow you to stake and earn T-Vibe token, which you can use to unlock monthly 2D and 3D entertainment. The OG NFTs include Dreamland, Guardian, Flying High, Gimme the T-Fuel, Beam My Line, and Down With Me. So get on over to Open Theta and grab yourself an NFT that provides good vibes and T-Vibe today.
Papa Max, yeah. Papa Max. Papa Max Podcast. Papa Max Podcast.
Look, we got a guest. It says.
Oh, nice.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, how you doing?
Not too bad. Not too bad. What about you?
Doing good. Doing good. Happy it's Thursday, Friday Eve.
I know, right?
One step closer. Yeah.
This week seemed to have gone a little faster, though. I mean, this last month actually flew by. Holy crap.
I've been getting beat up every day. It hasn't seemed like it's gone too fast for me. This was a tough week. Today was a tough day for me.
Oh, that sucks.
But yeah, hey, no, it's good now. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, no, just brutal day of work, but now we're past that. So
got to mind that fiat, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Hey, that's the way she goes.
All right, so hey, welcome to the Pinecast, Theta Diamond. So it's a pleasure to have you here with us, man.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks for reaching out.
For sure, and it's actually, you should have been on a bit earlier, I think, because it does seem like you are a real staple in the community. I know that you've been doing your daily diamonds right now is it over a year?
Yes, sir. Almost. Today is day 329.
Day 329. So that's pretty cool. So how did that start?
And that was kind of that wasn't even intentional, to be honest with you. It just morphed into something that I didn't even think was possible. But it started off, to be honest with you, at first when I was just kind of doing off of that account was the fan designs, right? So I didn't even know how to use like Photoshop or any of that back then. And so I just it was like,
really,
yeah, it was just like half-assed. Not the daily diamonds themselves, but the designs themselves.
Yep.
When I started with the Theta Diamond account, it was more for like a fan account to interact with the rest of like the Theta community. And never did I imagine that it would transform into what it did. And my life kind of transformed as well. I left my career of 13 years in the army to be able to do this full time. That's what I saw down the road for the possibilities of doing this and being as deep as possible in Web3, and not just NFTs per se, but actual like all the tech behind it and all that.
Yeah.
It's just I couldn't bypass it. I couldn't like
Pass up the opportunity. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, I just kind of started doing like little designs here and there and just talking about Theta Network and stuff, and the interaction was great. And it was at the height of almost at the height of the last bull run, right? So everyone was so active on Twitter, and eventually they were just like, you know what, like, why don't you start doing NFTs? And I was like, I didn't even at that point, I had never even bought my own yet, right? So I did my deep dive, and when I really looked into it, I was like, okay, this makes sense. I understand like the art piece of it is what interests me to begin with, but I understand, and that's just the preface. That's just like the book cover, right? That's just that's what's presented to the public to unlock whatever the creator wants to have unlocked. It's a digital access pass, right?
Yeah. That's the first layer of it. Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, that evolved into eventually me being like, all right, screw it. It's time to go into this full blast. MS Paint ain't gonna cut it no more. And then so I just started just hours and hours and hours of tutorials and stuff to be like, okay, well, you know what? I would like to start to learn how do I do like a 3D cube or something like that. Okay. So started doing tutorials on that, started learning how to do that. And then eventually it just came to a point where I felt comfortable enough putting it out as completed designs, and it just kind of caught on from there.
Yeah, I would say so. Were the daily diamonds, were those your first NFTs, or did you have something before that?
So prior to that, I did do something called my first drop was called Psychedelic Genesis, and that was a drop that I did. It comprised of, man, it's been about a year now. But there was it came out, it was like 5 or 6 unique designs, and there were several editions of them.
Okay.
And then after that I did a few more limited runs because the drop went really well and we sold out pretty quick. So that's when I kind of understood that large edition numbers is not, even though it might work with a lot of projects, we're not at that yet, right? We're on the Theta network, we're on the Theta blockchain. The active wallets aren't as big as, let's say, for Ethereum, for example, right?
Small pond. Yeah.
Exactly. So I started catching on that like people like limited editions, right? Now I'm all about the one of ones, but still like 10 editions and 15 editions, people love that stuff. So that's when I started realizing, okay, I'll start like kind of limiting a little bit what the editions are. And then it was actually Doc Theta one day, shout out to him. He was like, man, why don't you start like doing like, you're putting out one design a day without calling it anything. Why don't you do it as like an NFT project? And that's when the idea actually came around. If it wasn't for Doc Theta, maybe Daily Diamond wouldn't even be here. He would have morphed into something else.
Oh wow. So this started with a Twitter account that you had called Theta Diamond? Is that
exactly? It was right around the time where NASA they were live streaming their Mars rover landing
on Theta TV.
Exactly. So it would have been about a week or two before that I created the account.
Okay, cool. And then you were doing daily art for the Twitter handle?
Exactly. So at first it was just, I'd go on websites where there's some websites where they just like compile stuff together. So you're like, okay, here's the source image, put it on the default image of a truck, and then you got like T-Fuel on the truck, whatever, right? So I was just putting it out like that, kind of like just embracing the community and putting little taglines and stuff in it that had to do with the tech and stuff like that. And then when that started catching on, I was like, okay, well, I've always had this passion that I wanted to do designs, but I've never had the guts to actually like kind of push myself into it and start doing it seriously. It's to me, it seemed daunting. Like I don't have naturally on paper, I don't have like the best drawing skills. So to me, to translate that digitally it was like it opens up so many doors because you're not limited by just your skills that you have as an artist on paper. You know what I mean? Like take Beeple for example. You know, his stuff that
Yeah.
he pumps
Yeah.
out daily. That's just amazing, and that's, you know, that can't be just like he's also a source of inspiration for when it comes to the Daily Diamonds. One design a
Gotcha.
day
Okay. Yeah.
before it actually became. So it was kind of like I saw what he was doing and I really enjoyed it, and I love his work. Right, everything's so original. And he pushes the boundaries on everything, and he kind of put NFTs on the map for the general public. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that Sotheby's sale. What was it, 62 or 69 million?
Yeah. Something ridiculous. Yeah.
Right. So then all the Google searches were like NFT 69 million. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's when people started, you know, giving a shit.
So where do you find your inspiration to do a different one each day? I mean, that's got to be difficult.
So sometimes it goes a little bit, it's a little bit easier than others, because sometimes I'll be like, you know what, I've had this idea for a few days now. It's been festering. I want to do something related to this. But most of the time, what it is whatever I am feeling at that point in time. Sometimes I'll have like an inspiration the night before. Maybe I caught the tail end of like Indiana Jones or something. You know what I mean? So it
Oh,
just like,
nice. Yeah.
and I'll see a scene setting that I really enjoyed. I'm like, you know what, I want to recreate that. And then sometimes I'll involve a little bit, like I'll do like a shout out to Theta Network with, you know, one of the symbols kind of
Oh,
modified a
yeah.
little bit.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But at the end, it's just it's so freeing and liberating, because yes, I have other projects that I'm involved with, but Daily Diamond is like I can express myself the way I want to differently every single day. I'm not bound to, like, you know what I mean? Like, let's say I'm really into skulls. We do that for a while. Cool.
Yeah.
But let's
Yeah.
say the next day I want to do something else. You know what I mean? I'm not just bound to one. That's the worst as an artist, is to be shackled to just one type of thing. And my whole thing is I'm discovering my tools even further, and I'm implementing new techniques that I'm still learning. You know what I mean? Like I'll be honest about it. I only still probably know like 20-30% of the total capacity of my tools. I'm still learning
Wow.
how to use my tools. So it's kind of a work in progress at the same time, but there's less and less time for learning when most of the time is now dedicated to doing the actual designs and catching up with all the projects and managing the community. And there's only so many hours in a day, you know?
Sure. Absolutely. So for those that don't know, how would one go about, these are auctioned off on a daily basis, correct?
Yeah, you're correct. The only one that's not auctioned is there's a design on Sunday that I do that it does not get auctioned. What happens, it'll be part of the Daily Diamond giveaway that we
Oh,
do every
cool.
Thursday. Yeah. So like today, after today's auction is done in 20 minutes, about 10-15 minutes after, whoever has, like, this week it's going to be whoever has 5 Daily Diamonds or more in their wallet will be entered into the wheel spin giveaway, and then whoever the winner is for that gets that Daily Diamond.
Oh, nice. So it's still only one. So you gotta meet the criteria and get lucky.
Exactly.
Oh, that's cool. So is this just happening on the Discord?
Yeah, correct. So it used to be on the Open Theta Discord, but I launched my own Discord there a few months ago, close to the holidays. And exactly right in the auctions channel is where people can bid on the daily auctions. Yeah.
So now are people seeing what they're bidding on, or is it do they not see it until they win it?
No, for sure they see it. So
Oh, okay.
it's a Discord bot, and it'll I'll send it all the data that it needs to run the giveaway, and then at the time that I set it to run, it'll launch, and then on the Discord page channel, sorry, it'll show you what you're like, what the bid is for,
Yep.
what the auction is, right? The image will load up, and then it'll say the description, what the minimum amount is to bid, which is pretty minimal, but people seem to bust it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Which is humbling. It's awesome, right? Because at the end of the day, I have no, like, I don't dictate whatsoever what it goes for. You know,
Right.
if people all got together and were like, you know what, fuck, let's get one for really cheap, but it never happened. Like it'll happen some nights that it's a little bit lower than others or a little bit higher than others, but never has there been a time where people just got together and were like, you know what, let's get this one for cheap. They just, the bidding fever takes over, and then the last 10 5 minutes, 10 minutes, sometimes it goes haywire in there.
Is the auction ending at the same time every day?
Yeah, for the most part. So I try to run them for 8 hours. So they'll start off at 12 p.m. MST, and then I end it at 8 p.m. MST.
So you get these things done every morning.
Every single morning, exactly. So it'll take me, on average, it'll be between 3 to 4 hours to pump out one design.
Wow. Okay, that's
Yeah.
cool. So people got their watches and their alarms set for 5 of, and head on over there and see where it's at.
Pretty much, yeah. And then the bot will give you like a fair notice.
Yep.
Actually, now that I'm talking to you about it, kind of gives me the idea to do a warning that's a little bit more time, because right now it just gives you a 5-minute warning and then a 1-minute warning that the auction is almost up.
Gotcha.
And that's usually when people hop on and try to outbid the other ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes I've had like when we first started the community, I was doing 30-minute auctions. I think I might have started off with 10 or 15-minute, and then I bumped it up to 30-minute. Then I bumped it up to an hour, and then people from different time zones, especially in Europe, a little bit in Asia as well, they were like, you know what, like this is not at a time that I can manage. So there is something on the way for that. It won't be on Discord. It'll be on a website, but there'll be a way for, I want to test out once a week to begin with, an auction where it runs for like 23 hours, so that everybody in every time zone on every continent can bid, and they'll be able to put a max amount that they want to bid, and then at the end it'll sort out, right, instead of having to do it live, right?
Oh,
because it kind of,
are you talking like a blind auction?
No, it won't be. It'll
Okay.
be kind of like it'll be kind of similar. It's just you won't see it as, you'll see that someone just outbid you. It just won't be like live in your face like it is on Discord, which is what brings the appeal the most to the Daily Diamonds, is the fact that it's done on Discord and it's live. So it gives that sense of like,
Yeah.
it's not behind a wall of anything. It's kind of like right there in your face. You're bidding. You screw up on your command on your bid, like you're not going to get it right. And then that's the thing. Like it's fun. It's fun. A lot of people, for them, like, yes, there's T fuel involved and NFTs involved, but a lot of it is fun too.
Sure. Now, have you ever had an issue with someone bidding and then not buying? Right, because this isn't connected to a wallet. It's just a bid, right, on Discord.
Exactly. So I try to vet people as much as I can.
Gotcha.
You can't get them all. So there's a small percentage that do come through, but we haven't experienced that, knock on wood, but we haven't experienced that in quite a while. That was more, I'd say, in the first few months of me launching this, that it would happen. And then that's when I started putting in rules into, like, if you're a brand new bidder, like I'll kind of vet you even more a little bit prior, just to get like a feel for you. But if you're it's a small tight knit community, and it's a family of Daily Diamond holders, so it's kind of like we kind of know what's going on. But yeah, so there has been, it does happen, but I sorted it out pretty quickly. And then they understand, the people understand, right? And I try to be as transparent as I can. So when something happens, I try to show it right away so that people know, oh, okay, this is why this decision has been made, or this is why this person just got banned. And we all said welcome to the person, but there was no interaction. And then I get a DM that's like, oh, hey, I'm an NFT campaign manager for so-and-so, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, nope, I know where this is going. Nope, you're not getting
you got that one too?
Oh, dude, I get that. I get like 6 every day, man. No joke. And on Twitter, it's even worse.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm like, ooh, new message. Sweet. Nope. It's all spam.
Yeah, I just get like a lot of the fake followers. It's like they follow me and then they just sit in waiting for someone to like type in MetaMask or something in a response, and then it's just like bang, 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 bang.
They're brutal.
Yeah.
But since Elon took over, I'll be honest with you, I felt it. I felt it right away. So when he took over, I was at 7,000 something followers. And when he took over and he did those announcements that he was going to get rid of, like he's going to do a few tests and get rid of a bunch of bots that people know they're bots. Holy shit. There was like 800 within
wow
6 hours. I had 800 less followers. And it's like, why were 800 bots following me? So it went back down to 6,000 something, but it's like, why would bots follow me? What are you trying to do? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Now, if I would employ them to spam, I'd understand. But like, why would you follow an account to? I don't know. Like,
Yeah, but those bots, I think I'm sure that they're just like they're there just waiting for like the right keyword to be on
Yeah.
something, and then they just, oh, you need help? Call my friend. I lost everything too. Call Jack.
Oh,
And, he'll get
it's
everything back for you.
crazy. And I try, like right now I still can do that, right? And I mean, if ever like my social media grows to a point where I can't do it all manually, then I'll figure it out. But sometimes, like if I put out a post and it hits, and yet like you said, I try not to use certain keywords, but if it really hits and then there's a bunch of bots that get on, I go through every single one, ban, block, or yeah, block. Yeah, are you sure? Yeah. It's like, and sometimes it's brutal, and then you'll discover the network because they're all like replying and liking their stuff, obviously. But it's like, holy crap, dude! Like you guys could go after people, that are much bigger than me. Like, what are you spending time on a small fry like me for? Like, go after the Ethereum guys, or don't go after anyone at all. But
right,
like,
exactly.
Yeah, but that's the thing. In some, like it's everywhere. But in some countries, if you successfully scam one person, like you just made like a family wage of a week too, right? So not to take anything away from the fact that it's completely criminal and it's a shitbag thing to do. Still, like for some people, like that's your breadwinning, right? In a different country too.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So you have a few other projects still on Open Theta that are still minting. I went through them: Cleanup Crew, T Fuel Dreams, Plugged In, and Event Proxima.
Yeah, that's correct. So I kind of caught myself a while ago when I was saying it, and I just didn't backtrack. But the Psychedelic Genesis, there was a few that minted out, but there was other ones that, like the ones that you just named, that were just higher editions, and they haven't minted out,
okay.
right?
So that's part of the overall. Okay. So does that include like Thetaverse, Immersion, the Self Illusion, those ones? Okay. All right.
Exactly.
Cool.
Exactly. Yeah, that's where that came from, because it was like, if I remember correctly, it was like 6 or 8 designs that had, editions attached to them. And then there was a few of them that it was like, okay, if you collect them all, then you'll have a chance to get airdrop this one unique one that only 10 people will get, right? And I think that was like T Fuel Extraction or Theta Extraction, that one was called.
Yep. The Extraction.
The Extraction, yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes with the names, sometimes like the Daily Diamonds, I'll be like, oh yeah, okay, I got this nailed down. Okay, perfect. Yeah, saved as a JPEG. Okay, compressed, good to go. Yeah, it's not too big. It'll load fast. Okay, cool. Final steps. Then I look at it and I'm like, oh shit, what do I name it? And I come up with an idea, and I'm like, man, I already used this name. So I can only imagine when it's like day 900. Fuck.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, trying to name them each day, that's got to be difficult.
Oh, that is. Sometimes that'll be like my blank stare at the screen. Like, all right, it's done. What the hell do I name it?
So so tell us about that drop. Like, what was that? Did that come out before the Daily Diamond or after it?
Yeah, that was right before.
That was right before it. So
Yeah.
what was that one about?
That was just like, be free, let you design whatever you want, and see where it takes you. And I was kind of like, at that point in my art journey, I was really into like the psychedelic, flashy, not really neon, but like kind of 70s, 80s warped, bubbly kind of designs, right? So I was like, you know what? I'll do a drop that's themed that way, and that way I can, as I'm doing the drop, I'm learning, as I'm doing the designs for it, I'm learning even more at that point, my tools too, right? I'm learning a little bit about shading and the color palettes and different brushes and stuff like that. And I was, at that point, I kind of just, I remember being just kind of locking myself in the office, blasting whatever music I want to blast, and just be in the zone and be like, okay, yeah, do this here, put that there, combine this with that, make that into this, blah, blah, blah. And then at the end, I'd look at it and I'd be like, okay, yeah, no, still not happy. I got to do this, that. So that's where I kind of got the ethic of kind of putting really a lot of time into each design. You know what I mean? So kind of forced myself to not just get complacent with the skills that I've acquired up to now, and understand and know, like, I still look at some people's, not even NFT related, but I still look at other people's designs sometimes, and I'm like, oh, I wish I could do that. You know what I mean? So I need to doing a daily design kind of forces me to keep up to date with that and not just be complacent and like status
Gotcha.
quo kind of. As humans, we really like to be comfortable in status quo, right? And
Sure.
I'm no different.
Huh. Yeah, you gotta stretch yourself to grow, though, in many ways.
Exactly. That's a good expression. I've never heard that.
So now you got diamond heads, right?
Oh,
That's your
yeah.
most recent one.
Yes. Yeah, correct.
So
I
this
launched
one's
that one.
kind of a different kind of idea, right? Behind it.
Yep. Yeah,
So
totally.
tell us a little more about that one. Because when you brought up
So-
Indiana Jones, like this seems like an Indiana Jones kind of thing, to be honest with you.
For sure. And there's probably one in there that kind of looks like one. So that one was kind of, for a while, I wanted to do a drop that involved how do I say that? I wanted something for a little bit more for a mature audience without it being too pushy. I
Yeah.
wanted something a little less cartoony, bubbly, and a little bit more dark and kind of more appealing to, well, personally, what the kind of art that I like, then that I enjoy. And
Yeah.
I started testing the waters a little bit with the daily diamonds. Sometimes I'd include just a little bit. I'd include skulls in my designs, and people were attracted to it more than the other ones. And I was like, okay. So sometimes let's put out something that's a little bit more focused around the skulls. And then people loved it even more. And I was like, okay, so this is confirmation that I need to, dust off projects that I have on the shelf, so to speak, that I've thought about that are like 30-40% built, and really like this one, the skulls, I got to do something with this. And then I just, in all the free time that I had after doing Daily Diamond, I would just hit the ground running and just come up with the concept and the design and the utility and just everything for diamond heads, right? And it went through many iterations before I kind of settled on exactly what I wanted to put out, but it seemed to have really hit well with the audience.
Yeah, I would say
And oh, dude, I was so blown back, and I really, at the same time, for me, it was like, you know what, like, it wasn't, obviously you sell them for T fuel, but at the end of the day, I just wanted to get them into everyone's hands. You know what I mean? So I had so many giveaways going on. I did some minting blitzes. Like once in a while, I was like, hey, the next 50 diamond heads that you guys mint, I'll match it. I'll mint another one and I'll send it to you. Stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it really went well, and the community just responded awesomely. And I mean, I think that's just a testament to, like, you don't have to, how do I say that? You don't have to hit a home run right off the bat without, you can't hit a home run right off the bat without having built that community prior. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people that'll shout community, but when you really look at it, at the nitty gritty, you're like, man, this motherfucker ain't about community whatsoever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's true. It's true. It happens regularly. And there's a lot of politics. I mean, you guys probably know, right? More than others. But at the end of the day, like, a lot of people don't know the amount. Yes, we're a small community, but the amount of politics that are behind the scenes is fucking crazy, man.
Are you talking like at the marketplace level, or like
the
like
users,
within the actual
creators, the whole package? There's so much
Yeah.
stuff that goes on behind, and it's not necessarily all negative either. There's a lot of positive stuff, but it's there's a lot of politics behind this stuff. Like,
I heard a good strategy was not to dump on other projects. That's one I've heard. And then going back to your question before, you said you don't have to hit a home run off the bat. Actually, that's the only way to hit a home run that I know of is off the bat. So,
well,
thank you.
So I just wanted to clarify for everyone
Guys,
out there who's like
you
trying
need
to
a
figure
sound
that
effect
out.
in the background of a drum going.
Yeah.
It's going off in my head all the time. So.
It is.
If only we could hear it.
Yeah, no, but you're right. There's plenty of different issues, right? It's, you got issues for sure on OpenSea. You got tons of issues. A lot of that is like scamming and like, you don't know the founders of the projects, and you got to be careful. It's, it's a whole different world out there. With Theta, it's a lot different because pretty much all of the creators are known. Like, there's no real anonymous creators.
That's true. Yep.
Maybe a few, but those are few and far between. But some of the problems that I see at times is, it does seem like you get a needy community. Like, you try to help the community, and then the more you help them, the more it's almost like feeding the animals at times. You know what I mean? Like, you give them a little bit of food, and then all of a sudden now they're just dependent on you, and it's like, dude, like, there's if this is a project that you want to go where you want it to go, you got to stop, and you got to let that happen, right? It's you can't be catered to at such a level.
No, that's totally right. Like, the other thing is too, and you kind of mentioned it on OpenSea, like that's the wild west, right? That's where,
yeah.
And how many of those projects are successful? Like, yeah, if you go to like the top page and all that, like,
right, exactly,
it'll show you. But if not, like, you just look at the traffic that goes on, and you're like, okay, it's kind of like the ICO craze back in the day, right? And we all know how that turned out. But no, I kind of strike it down to NFT projects as is right now in their shape and form. I would say like probably 90% is going to the ground. You know what I mean? Just kind of like the .com era. I mean, there wasn't many survivors after that. You know what I mean? The ones that were bringing it to the table and really had the intention to stay here for the long run, those are the ones that kind of stayed. But yeah, that was I think we already saw a little bit of that, and that doesn't help that it's because of the the current bear market or the corrective market.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
At the end of the day, still there's a lot. Like, I even experienced it a little bit too, right, in my daily diamonds in my project. But I mean, I experienced it for like maybe 2 months, and then it kind of went back to the same amount of T-fuel that people normally bid on to win an auction. So it kind of reassured me that, okay, I'm on the right track. I'm doing what needs to. And then usually that just kind of lights a fire under my ass. And when I see something works, I like to pour diesel on it and make it work even better. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
my wife might not like it the most, because it means even more time dedicated to this. But everyone, my whole family understands that I'm in it to win it. I didn't leave a career of 13 years to come here and twiddle my thumbs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you said you left the Army after 13 years?
Yep.
So what kind of position were you in there?
So I was Army. I joined just at the tail end of 08. And I joined as, at that time, it was a signal operator was the trade name. So basically working the radios, working the comm equipment, satellite, FM, HF, VHF, UHF, satellite communication, stuff like that, right? So communications throughout providing communications throughout the battlefield. And then that kind of progressed after a few years. I kind of went into a sub trade. It was called ASIS ISD. The Army really likes to, the forces in general really like their acronyms. But what that was, it's Army Computer Information Systems Specialist, Information Systems Technologist. Try say that 10 times, fucking, without taking a breath. But no, long story short, that was basically the same type of stuff as a signal operator, but more the use of routers and switches and networking and server side of the house.
Yeah. Yeah, I've dealt with being Intel. I've dealt with the signal guys for warfighter exercise and stuff a lot. So
what?
It's a different world.
What was your last warfighter?
Dude, I don't know. I know the biggest one like I ever did that I just lost my mind at was, I think, the beginning of 2018. But my division, or my former division, they would pick up some kind of spot in a warfighter like every fucking year. Why? I don't know. Well, I do know is because you got to. The problem is at like a division level, there's a lot of officers, and so like majors and above, and they all want to fucking look good. Every single one of them. And the way to do that is to, hey, we're doing this and we're doing this. So I'm a active duty National Guard guy. I see this. I see this a lot on our side, which just blows my mind. But I mean, if you're like in the thick of a warfighter, it freaking sucks.
Buddy, I've done multiple.
I can relate.
We'll talk offline some other day about this.
Oh yeah, yep.
About the nitty gritty.
We had guys though. One of the funniest ones is this lieutenant colonel was, because it's like notional secret, notional top secret
Yep.
in a lot of this stuff, and we had to get like. So I was the ace NCOIC in the two shop. We'd have to get like our MPs that we had, send them over and do scans for phones because
Yep.
these guys were bringing in phones to secure areas, and it was always the officers.
You know what I learned about those? I won't go. I won't go too much into detail. But you know what I learned about those detectors for the phones?
What's
They're
that?
not actually detecting a signal or anything like that. They're detecting the ferrous material that's in your phone. That's more likely to be in a phone than any other device, and that's what sets off the machine. I learned that from experience.
Okay, interesting. You heard it here first, everyone.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I've heard of ferrous material. I've previously heard of ferrous material, but it's just
On a wheel?
On a wheel?
A Ferris wheel?
Oh no.
Ayo.
No, this guy who tells terrible jokes that we know. But anyways, so moving on.
Oh man. Funny. So let's go back to Diamond Heads, because I know that there's more to that project, right? I was talking with Chief, I believe, who is enamored by the project. And so do the Diamond Heads holders receive like a piece of the daily diamond sales, or is that what's happening? Something like that, right?
So very similar to Daily Diamond. What's going to happen is within the next 48 hours, there's going to be an airdrop to all the Diamond Head holders. That's going to put them into phase 2. And then phase 2, what that is everyone that holds those NFTs, the auctions that we're going to start doing for Diamond Heads inspired auctions, one of one designs. It'll be a few a week to begin with. Just like with the Daily Diamond, the holders will receive 18% of the weekly sales in T-Fuel will get redistributed amongst the holders. So that utility really works well for Daily Diamond. So I decided to incorporate that as well on top of the other utilities in this project. People really respond well to that, and it's not and not to take anything away from any projects, but you're not getting rewarded in a different kind of token, right? You're getting rewarded in the chain's native token of T-Fuel, so you don't have to swap or anything like that, right? And no one has to stake or anything like that. They just, not everyone wants to do that kind of stuff, and not everyone like trusts to interact completely with like smart contracts and stuff like that, right? So the fact that they can just buy one and hold it and set it and forget it and just accrue T-Fuel as the time goes by, that's interesting to quite a few people. So I was like, you know what, I get a lot of ideas to do things, and a lot of the time I won't implement them because I'm like, I kind of run it by the community, and they kind of tell me in their own way, like, no, this is not what we want, this is not going to work, or whatever, right? Sometimes I'll do it anyways, but very rarely. It'll only be I'll implement something if I know in the long run it's going to be a good idea to do that decision, right? Because maybe I'm not telling everybody everything at once. I don't want to give away the surprise bag all at once, you know what I mean?
Gotcha. So right now, if somebody holds one Daily Diamond, they get 1/300th or whatever of 18% of the week's auction take.
Exactly. So lately, I'd have to check the median, but for the last month, that's been between 15 and 18 T-Fuel per Daily Diamond for the payouts.
Per day or per week?
Per week. Because Sunday, since I don't do any auctions, Sunday is payout day. So that's when I do the calculations, and then that's when I run it by the smart contract. I send it all the T-Fuel, and then it sends it out to all the wallets.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. So now you're implementing something similar with Diamond Heads. That's
exactly. Cool. Exactly. On top of the other stuff, like I wanted to, on this drop, to really include more, use the actual like Theta tech. So like some of the stuff is powered by Theta Video API. Shortly, it'll be powered by the Edge store.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to more and more incorporate the actual tech of the blockchain within my projects, right? Not just the NFTs themselves and call it a day. Because there is for me personally, that's one of the utilities for Daily Diamond, is the fact that, listen, like, it's one original design a day for life. Like, until the day I'm 6 feet under, or something else, it's I'm gonna be here no matter what, rain or shine. I'm doing one design a day, so
can you tell us a little more about how you're going to use the Edge store?
So for the time being, the Edge store will be used kind of as a replacement for Theta Video API. So that'll be where we store the video content and then have it token gated, so that the members that hold from that smart contract, the members that hold that NFT, will be able to access the members content. And for us in Daily Diamond, the members content will be what we call the Heads Hunter challenges. And it's basically our flavor of NFT challenges, but without having to necessarily put in more T-Fuel into it to participate. A lot of it will be like, do you hold it or do you not hold it? If you do, be the first one to do this, and boom, you're going to win that kind of thing. Because at the end of the day, I don't want it to become kind of like in the video game world, where you buy the video game and then you have all these DLCs that you have to pay on top extra. So for me, the DLCs that I had on, the phases and stuff, they're free, right? They're airdropped to you to be able to continue on into how I'm shaping the project. And that's really, for me, that's when you mint something off the bat, you should get all the utility from it right off of that. You shouldn't have to buy into other stuff and this and that and throw more T-Fuel at it to be able to gain more. No, you already did that. That's the handshake that we did at the beginning when you press the mint button to get one of these. And then it's up to me to deliver that to you without you having to dump more T-Fuel into it. You know what I'm saying? I might be babbling on, but I kind of it makes sense in my head.
It's all good. No, I was kind of curious. I haven't had a chance to look into really what the Edge store, what the benefits to that are. So I was just kind of curious. Yeah.
Do you know anything about Arweave? Have you ever played with Arweave?
Well, Arweave isn't that where some of these NFTs are basically platform? Like I think Theta Zilla Club uses Arweave, right?
Yes. So it's the backbone of it's permaweb. So it's permanent web storage. So it's a link that once you upload it to that platform, it's a link that'll never die, basically, right? Because if
your NFT is basically linking to that link,
exactly,
right?
And that serves as the permanent storage for it. So Theta Edge Store is the same idea, right? So you can store video.
Okay.
Exactly.
So you're getting a link within that you're okay.
Yep.
Got it. Cool.
And it's super simple too. I played around. I'm not using it right now just because it's still, I'd have to make sure. But when I was testing it, it was still just on the test net. So because of that, I didn't want to commit yet to minting my stuff on a test net when maybe, you never know, maybe once it goes live and it's out of the like alpha version, maybe that link will get corrupted or change or whatever. I didn't want to take the risk of messing with people's NFTs, right? But as soon as that goes like live and is on the mainnet, I'm switching from Arweave and totally using 100% Theta Edge Store for everything.
Oh, nice.
And it's super simple. The layout is beautiful. The GUI is super simple. It's I'll probably be doing a few posts once it's up and running publicly out of alpha. Probably be doing a few posts targeted towards like the general audience of Ethereum and stuff like that. Just being like, hey,
look how easy this is.
Kind of exactly right. You don't just have to rely on one system, which is Arweave. Like you can come over to the dark side,
Yeah, seriously, right. So you were at ThetaCon, right?
Yes, sir.
Man, me and Mags, when we were there, it was like most of it's like such a blur. Feel like we were just getting pulled here and there and everywhere.
Yep.
And I know that I was in that back room a few times where all the projects were, and I feel like every time I was back there, you were not back there. So I don't think we really got a chance to meet there. But I was curious how you enjoyed your time there, or what you thought of ThetaCon.
Dude, like I'll be honest, I don't want to sound cliche or cheesy, but as soon as those fucking doors slid open and I walked in, I was like, yep, this is home. This is where I belong. This is home for the weekend. Fuck yeah. Everyone just walking around, and I only knew a few people by their faces and stuff, but some people, like, it helps out, right, when they had certain shirts on and shit like that. But I was right. And I was just walking around, and I just felt so at home, man. Like, it was crazy. I was quite nervous at first on the cab ride over from the other hotel. I was kind of sweating up a storm, and I was like, you know what? No, fuck it. We're all here for the same thing. It's gonna
Yeah.
be fucking awesome. And as soon as I walked in, like I said, it was, and like you said, it's a blur, my friend. Like, I remember
man,
walking by
yeah.
a few times when you guys were doing your stuff too, and I was like, can I just walk in? Like, are they doing something live? I don't know. I don't want to interfere, you know?
Oh, please, dude. It was funny because we joked. We were like, oh, we should put a sign on the outside of the door to just say, like, recording in progress. And then
Yep.
that way, like, we wouldn't have been disappointed if no one showed up. And the next thing we know, there's a bunch of people in the room. I was like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
But Popper looked at me and he said, let's just shut the door and hopefully nobody will come in.
Hey, sometimes that's the way to go. But no, man, it was awesome. Like, seriously, I had so much fun there. Just being able to talk with people that use the platforms. You know what I mean? Like, not even just like
Yeah.
rubbing shoulders with other, creators and stuff like that. It was more, for me, it was more just interacting with the community. That was so awesome. Like, just hearing people's opinions and their thoughts and stuff. And sometimes it had nothing to do with Web3 or NFTs or tech. We just start talking about, like, fucking just shooting the shit, right? Just like life
Yeah.
stories and all that.
Yeah.
That, to me, that was everything.
Yep.
Building those relationships with people. I would have really missed out if I didn't show up. So thank fuck that my passport came in time. Because, dude, that was like a month-long battle. I was at the passport office over and over and over again. And then finally I just, I applied for the I pulled my application and I applied for the emergency one, or whatever. It's not emergency, but like the fast track one, like the 48, 72 hour one. And yeah, by a miracle, I picked up my passport literally 18 hours before going on the flight.
Wow.
Down to Theta God. Yeah.
Wow.
That's why I never made an announcement, because I was like, you know what? I can't
You weren't sure.
announce the hell out of this and then be a no-show. Like, what are people going to think? You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah.
I held to the last minute, and then the day before, when I got the passport in the evening there, I did a quick post, and people were happy, because I would have been sad to miss that, man. The especially the first one, like, people remember that stuff.
Oh, for
Like,
sure.
you'll watch YouTube videos and stuff of people talking about, like, the old school Ethereum days, which isn't that long ago, but like the first ones for Ethereum, and they're like, man, we were like fucking 120 people in this room, and not even, and now look
Yeah.
at what it is, right? So
Yeah.
I truly believe we're kind of in that zone right now, right, with Theta Labs.
Yeah, no, I agree. I could totally see that being the case as well. And like you said, it was just it was a great atmosphere the entirety of the weekend. Except for when we got yelled at when the guy was cleaning the floor.
Oh, no way! What did he yell at? What did he yell at you guys for?
Oh, dude, he had like the that big machine out there that was like buffing the floor, but he had like a river of water over by the
shit.
elevators.
Yep.
And everything's taped off except for this one area between the couches. And me and Mags walk by. There's a upside down bucket in between the two couches. We just walk by it, and the guy just starts screaming at us.
Oh,
And
no!
so Mags turns around. He's like, "There's a bucket. It's just a bucket here." Yeah. So everything was. It was a great time. The people were awesome. It was like,
Yep.
you meet some people and it's like, oh, dude, like, I know you,
Yep. Yeah. No, it was actually surreal, man, for certain things. Like, it went so well too. Like, usually you're expecting a few hiccups here and there, you know what I mean, with the programming or something.
Yeah.
And it was like, if there was any, we were shielded from that. The team did such a amazing job at running things smoothly that if there was any of that in the background, I was oblivious to it, because they fucking nailed that. They nailed it down for the first one. Wow. Like, kudos to you guys. Like, holy shit.
I'm pretty sure the only technical issue that was had with me and Mags.
Okay. Hey, shit happens.
Yeah. Oh, it did. Yeah, for sure. But
and there's a lot of it too. I was like, you know what? I didn't stay. The one regret I have from ThetaCon is I didn't hang out much in the evenings. When the events were done,
yeah,
I would hunker back down in my room create my daily diamond for the next day.
Oh man! Wow.
Yeah, I don't have
Staying
my
grinding.
mornings anymore. Exactly. I didn't have a choice, man. I wanted to. I did have a choice. You know, I could have said, you know what, I'm taking 2-3 days off during
Mm,
ThedaCon to do this. But I was like, at that point, I was like, you know what? No, this is all about showing them what you're made of and showing them what like what this means to me. I take this seriously. Doesn't matter where I am, doesn't matter what I'm doing, doesn't matter if it's exactly for this. Hey, you guys are expecting me to do a design today. You're getting a design. You know what I mean? It's part of the
gotcha.
deal. It's part of the deal.
Gotcha. Okay, so that answers it, because I feel like the majority of the day was like running around every which way,
Yep.
and then at night was like the more chill part by the bar, like a bunch of people hanging out, and that's when I got to like really kind of meet some of the other people. So that makes
Exactly.
sense now. You were busy grinding, doing your daily diamond. I didn't even think about that.
Yep.
You kept it going that whole time. Crazy.
Well, my wife kind of told me beforehand. She was like, "Why don't you just do them before?" And I'm like, "Babe, because I know that I did them before, and it doesn't count."
Oh,
like,
wow.
Oh my god. No, but
So
it's true.
so you're doing these on vacation too?
Yes. So the only time I took a pause up to now, out of all these days, has been this summer. I took a week off, 5 or 6 days, and dude, like, I'm almost ashamed to admit it, but I was like dying inside. I was so sad to even think of the prospect that these people have been counting on me for these many days. They're expecting this to happen. And my wife is like, "You don't have to take it this way. Like, they'll understand, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Nope, for some reason, I don't know what it was. Maybe the moon was fucking aligned some way." But I was like, I was fucking hurting inside, man. And I was like, I can't do this. Like, they expect it. And then I was thinking about it more and more, and I was like, man, this won't be a vacation. Like, I'm never around for the kids and all that. This is the one time we're taking a break this summer. We're all together as a family. We rented an Airbnb near the beach and all that. I gotta be able to take somewhat of a break, right? So I pull it together. I write out a message on Discord, and the first responses is, "Holy shit, we're surprised you didn't take 2. Yeah, fuck yeah, man, go ahead." I was like, "Oh my god, you guys are awesome." So
yeah, dude.
you know what?
Sure.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for understanding.
Yeah, man, you got to get your battery recharged for sure.
Exactly.
And I
that's
don't think it's cheating either if you would do two a week for a week and then just have them in queue. I don't think that's cheating.
Yeah, I agree with your wife on this one.
Maybe I'll get to that point, to be honest with you. But until I'm 100% comfortable with my tools and I know the ins and outs of everything, I have to keep doing what I do.
But okay, just hear me out real quick. So like, my trick is, and I'm not like a real, someone like you, but like, if there was,
what does that mean?
Like, so when I was younger, anytime there was like a puzzle being made, I always just took a piece and walked out the room, wait till the puzzle was done until there was one piece left, and then walked back in the room and was like,
"Dude,
guys, we did it."
That is so you. That is so you.
I love that because I fucking hate puzzles.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think that's what your wife's trying to say. He's like, you can like kind of like have it ready to go, and then you could just put like a like a Theta logo on.
Sign it.
That completes the whole thing. So, but I'm all about technicalities.
I'll you know what?
Yeah, you are.
I'm part French, right? So I'm what do you call that in English? I'm hard-headed. I'm a fucking bonehead. So I'll have to get back to you on that one.
Okay. I'm interested to see how this plays out over time.
It's definitely considered because I know that like eventually I all right, you know what? I'll be the first one to say it here on this Pinecast.
To the tens and tens.
Eventually, it might take a few years to get there, but eventually I might switch it up to weekly diamond. You know what I'm saying? Now that depends on how things go. And I would always the daily diamond community is my baby. That's my baby. That's my that's what I have the most attachment to. I will always reward that community that's been with me since day one, somehow or the other. So whatever I continue on creating within that realm of the Daily Diamond would include the original people that are part of it. So if it evolves into like a weekly diamond, then so be it. You know what I mean? But that's not something I see for tomorrow whatsoever. But it is something that I can envision in the future to kind of morph towards too.
Seems very reasonable to me.
Yeah. And then it just means at that point the quality will be even better, because now I'll have quite a few days to put into one design. You know what I
Right.
mean? So the details would be even further. And that at that point, I would hope that I know my tools at 100%, or maybe if you can never get to 100%, but more than what I do at this point in time. I'm still learning. I consider myself an amateur still in this field. I'm grinding every day to get there, but there's some stuff that I would like to continue working on and getting better at. And to me, it's glaring in certain of my designs when I do them. So you're always your own worst critic, right? So sometimes it's hard to, without diminishing anything, sometimes it's hard to look back on some of the original designs, and then you're like, oh shit, I would have done this differently. This is obvious that I should have done it this way. This shadow doesn't align with that. I wish I could apply what I know now to those. But I think that's also the beauty of this project for the Daily Diamond, is the fact that it's ever evolving, and you can see my evolution as an artist with every day, starting from day 0 to day 329.
Magnum is way too humble to be his own critic.
Well, I was gonna say to that point is even though this is a little different, this Pinecast is a different beast or whatever. Looking back at some of our older stuff, I kind of cringe, like when Popper used to record out of a dumpster. I was like, that just was not a good idea, Popper.
Yeah. No,
I was
got
on
you.
Sesame Street hanging with Oscar. What can I say?
Hey, we start somewhere,
Right.
Shit. When I first started this, I had a webcam on top of a wobbly ass monitor, so I didn't notice until I put my first video out there. I think it was with Wes Sherwin.
Oh, Wes too.
Back when it was ultralight. And then when you put the video up, I was like, holy shit, the whole time it's like fucking tremors in the background. You know what I mean? And it's just me like just shaking my foot or something. But so you adapt with the time, right? So I got a better microphone and this and that and blah blah blah. But you kind of I think it's a reminder of how far you've come, right? When you were able to look at that stuff and be like, if you're still okay with that stuff, then maybe you haven't really progressed. So I think it's good when you look back and you're like, oh shit, I would have done this differently. That. Look what we fixed with this, that. And it's kind of like a thumbs up to yourself, confidence wise. It's like, fuck, we're getting better at this, you have to eventually, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, tell
You
Theta
wouldn't
about
know
that.
you wouldn't know it looking at the ratings, but I agree with you.
But dude, right now ratings are fucking horrible. So for example, like just social media interaction, go to the big players in any space, but even especially this space, they're getting like 1/8 of the interactions that they used to. You know what I mean? So it's not just locked into one thing. So don't be too down on yourself if the numbers aren't that high, because people, and especially right after the holidays too, in any area, usually like viewership and stuff like that kind of goes down, right? But it'll come back up. It'll come back up.
But and you've been in the crypto space for a little bit.
I have, yeah. So for quite a few years, I observed from a distance, because I didn't really have the time or the money to get into it more than just knowing about it. But I've always kept a finger on the pulse. Like I remember a few months after the Bitcoin white paper came out, I had just started my career course in the military, so I had a little bit more time, and I had ran. Fuck, I don't remember how long it was for. I want to say it was like a full weekend, so like Friday evening to like Sunday afternoon or something. And I mined. I don't know how many I mined, or if it even mined successfully, but I remember running what was needed to mine. And yeah, I did it with my gaming laptop back in the day. So and then at that time, there was no value towards it, right? There was nothing, and there was no, so it was just like the attitude towards it, like the cypherpunk type stuff, like the freaker community, the old school stuff. And it was like kind of the cool thing of that time. You know what I mean? Like it kind of made sense, but I didn't really look at it any further than that. So I went back to the barracks and did my 10-month course and blah blah, and then years go by, and then eventually it's like 2011 2012, and I'm like, holy shit, okay, there's like actual monetary value to this. Okay, cool. And then a few more years go by, and then 2016, 2017 is when I'm starting to kind of, okay, let's get on the exchanges. Let's start really looking at more projects than just Bitcoin and Litecoin and Ethereum. And then eventually it just kind of, yeah, it kind of spiraled into right before COVID happened. Can't remember. I think it was one of the forums that I've been on for like 20 years. One of the people on there was mentioning Theta Network. And I was like, whoa, what's this? So I kind of looked into it, and it kind of clicked right off the bat when I read the white paper. I can't remember for which mainnet it was, but I read the white paper and I was like, holy shit, this makes sense. And I had been looking for an excuse to power on my old laptops and some of my servers to dedicate them to something, and I didn't know what. And at that time, I was like, shit, I'm just going to run a bunch of edge nodes. So at one point, locally in the household, I had 18 edge nodes running. And then
Wow.
I started, I'm a networking guy. I love seeing the stats of the network, the in and outs of the traffic and, all that fun stuff. So to me, I was kind of nerding out because I got to monitor that. But what was even more fun was renting out, servers and VPSs and all that all across the world and putting edge nodes on those and seeing what kind of traffic and stuff they were pulling, right? So it kind of gave me an idea, a pulse on nodes everywhere, a little bit sprinkled all around the world to see what kind of, what worked, what didn't work, which ones would get errors, which ones didn't, which ones, because at that time you could do the on the edge, what was it called? Not the storage, edge compute. It was hooked up to the folding, right? Folding at home. And man, if you gave if you dedicated your GPU to that and you put it at high, like shit, it was just as bad as like mining Ethereum for the heat and shit that it produced. So I was like all in. I was like, you know what? I got an Ethereum rig right here, and then I have like 16 boxes dedicated to separate boxes dedicated to edge nodes. And I loved it. My wife hated it because you go down in the basement and it sounded like a fucking Boeing is taking off, right? But oh man, it was fun. I was in that's my happy place. Walking into a server room and just having all those fans on. Like to me, that's zen, that I can relax in there. You know what I mean? And to other people, it's like, holy shit, what's going on?
That's cool. You might. I just actually saw the Levita AI white paper today, and you might want to run those edge nodes back up again because they're planning on paying out a large chunk of their tokens for edge node computing.
I will be completely honest with you, not blowing smoke. I just deployed an edge node yesterday. I fired up an old rig that I had. I replaced the video card in it, replaced the heat sinks and all that, and when I saw that today, I didn't read the white paper yet, but when I saw the announcements and a little bit the highlights of stuff, I was like, "Oh, okay, yep,
yeah.
Let's start powering these babies back up."
Yeah, 20% I think it was of their tokens is dedicated to edge nodes. It's crazy.
That's a good call. It's about time someone does something like that. Like if I had the developer for it, like I'd start getting into that kind of stuff, right? But because that's what it's all about. Like Theta Network is so beyond. We're all caught up in the NFTs and all that, right? And that's a big part of my life too, obviously. But I mean, at the end of the day, that's not necessarily the bread and butter of Theta Network.
Oh, absolutely not. Completely agree.
Man.
They're
the sleeping giants, my friend. Like
I mean, building a
appreciate
highway that no one's driving on yet.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Once those cars start fucking driving on them, it's game over.
It's already built, and it's not. You're not going to run into traffic issues. It's ready to go.
It's there, exactly. And the it's not even Theta TV is like the proof of concept. You know what I mean? So it's not right. So and it's more than just the bandwidth. A lot of people are caught up on it's the content distribution network, decentralized kind of. Yes, it is. But at the end of the day, I'm my gut feeling and for this. I don't want to seem like a, how do I say that? For my gut feeling for this is the money shot with this technology is the edge compute and the edge storage. That's the big one right there. Incorporating that into people's tech, aka what Levita is doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the initial step forward in the right direction to display the tech that's being used and deployed by Theta Labs. Like that's game-changing stuff. Everyone, it's a buzzword, but the cloud, right? The cloud's always been there. It's just
Sure.
more simplified and easier to access. But offshore storage or off-site storage has always been a thing, right? It's just now there's a fancy label on it and it's cloud storage and this and that, blah blah blah. But the same thing will be for NFTs and all content distribution, right? And it's not just that; it's also the DRM aspect of being able to lock content. That is not to be overlooked whatsoever, especially that now they're able to the studio level DRM.
Exactly.
That is
Yep.
massive.
Oh, that's
It
huge.
is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so yeah. I don't care about pricing or any of that because I know, just like a lot of other crypto, but especially Theta Network, we are severely undervalued for what this brings to the table.
Yeah, I agree with you for sure. And I'm never one, like, honestly, people will be like, "Oh, it's pumping, it's pumping." I'll be like, honestly, I didn't even look. I don't
No,
look. I'm not a
exactly.
trader. I just I find projects that I like, and I just kind of, I'm like a squirrel. Just
Yeah,
grab
no,
them,
exactly.
put them in the hole, and, like, I'm waiting
Yep,
for another time to eat that nut. But
exactly.
I'm not. What were we just talking about with Theta though? I had a can't remember. I had something I've completely forgot.
That happens to me on the daily, on the fucking hourly, on the hourly actually.
Wow, Mags, anything? I know you're gonna keep this in too, because that's what you do.
Only if it makes you look bad.
Well,
Absolutely.
obviously.
There you go.
No, I can't help you. I mean, you took over the whole interview, so I don't know what,
I
what
left
else you
so
want me
much
from today.
empty. I left so much empty space for you to jump in. And even when I got him talking about the army, it was still like I had to wait here for 30 seconds before he even said anything.
I think we have a lot to discuss, but it'll be more like shooting the shit offline and just like dropping a few a few tidbits here and there.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely look forward to that.
Yeah.
But I mean,
we'll
I got to lob this guy up softballs every once in a while, and then he just doesn't even swing at them. It's like,
No, I had so many good entry points that you blocked.
Oh,
so
shit.
he's giving me like, dude, he's giving me like the crappy part of the wings. It's like, I don't want that. I wanted that part, you know? I don't want your
Hey,
ranch.
inflation, my friend, inflation.
dude, I watch, man. Whenever
Mandatory.
you're on mute, and then
Don't pay
so I
attention.
just keep going.
I do stuff that has nothing to do with. Don't even pay attention to my stuff. Okay, just worry about you remembered what the hell you were talking about.
I have no idea what we were talking
All
about.
right, well, moving on then.
Fuck, I'm no better because I kind of forgot that train of thought too. we were talking about Levita and the use of
Yeah. Oh, all right. Yeah.
Edge store?
It was edge node. So, I had been on the bandwagon of running an edge node, basically made little to no sense.
Yeah.
Staking to an edge node, you get a bunch of rewards for, but actually running the edge node, you get hardly anything for. So now
That's
with
true.
Levita coming along and actually rewarding the edge node runner, if you can get a few more tokens on meta chains that are going to be doing something similar, then you're going to strengthen your network as well, because now more people are going to be like, oh, I might as well spin up an edge node. It's not that difficult. It's,
Agreed.
all you need is a laptop and just flip it on. I mean, it's simple.
Yep. And I mean, they could even deploy this down to the mobile and tablet edition. They would just have to strip out the compute part. But if you leave, like, everything has a fucking Wi-Fi built into it now. And then yes, Wi-Fi does introduce latency, but at the end of the day, it's so minimal nowadays. And I mean, the potential of the text far surpasses the few latency that you can get from not being directly connected. They could push these out to mobile devices. You know what I mean? Like any device that has a Wi-Fi chip in it and a little bit of a processor, a little bit of RAM, you're good to go.
So they could handle the video jobs, right? But Levita is specifically a compute job.
Yes, in that case, in Levita's case, yes, that will. I'm not sure if it'll use GPU or CPU. I haven't read the white paper yet, but I'm very curious to see what they leverage from the nodes themselves, like what the computing itself, if it's at the CPU or GPU level. I'm kind of curious. Because I wonder if you can kind of figure out which one is better, then you just get a bunch of boxes that have high powered CPUs on them and start running those if it makes a difference. Or just, I'll switch out all the rigs that I had for Ethereum that's, can't even mine with that anymore. Maybe I'll switch those and put GPUs on the network and earn some tokens. I'll have to check out the white paper.
Yeah, definitely. Now go ahead, Max, please. I see you flashing in and out, killing it.
I was just trolling you, bro. So he's paying attention to these. You don't pay. Just worry a little less about me. Worry a little more about yourself.
So when I worry about myself, then you get all upset that I'm worrying only about me.
That's fine. That's fine.
Win.
But see, that's a good friend, though. That's a good friend.
Yeah. With friends like that, you don't get sides to go every time. All right. Well, did you have anything else, Mags? Did you have anything at all that you wanted to contribute here?
You took everything I had. What are you talking about?
You did give me all the notes earlier, didn't you? Oh wait,
you got them. Yeah, I didn't think you were going to take them all.
You know what's awesome though? Like, so Popper, I've heard more of you obviously during this, but Magnum, you're in the backgrounds. You're in the trenches, right? Fucking transferring dirt from one to the other and holding the fort down, right?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I've been trying to say.
I hear you.
So for example, you talked about Doc Theta, great guy. We recently ran an ad for Doc Theta, and he was like, "Oh man, that came out so well. Popper did such a good job." Popper didn't fucking edit that thing. But I said, "That's fine. That's fine." I said, "I don't need any credit. Just give it all to Popper. That's fine. It's not like, what do I need it for?"
You don't edit the commercials.
Yeah, I do. There's a bunch of stuff. So what he doesn't know is stuff has to get cleaned up a bit, and there's all these different scratch marks. There's these just these like he does. I got to take them out. I'm taking them out. I'm making them sound like a fucking
there'll be a bit
genius.
of that on my part,
and I get nothing. I get nothing but, oh, thanks for contributing. So.
Yeah, I got the originals. I can compare them. Relax over there.
Okay. All right.
Mag, I'll tell you what. At ThetaCon 23, I'll give you a pat on the shoulder.
And I'll take it. Thank you. I'll give you a pat on the shoulder.
And Bones Nest will get you some sides.
And we'll have a beer.
Bullshit.
Yeah, there you go.
Bullshit, he will. But no, and then I'll also give you, and I'll give you now, I'll give you a thank you for your service. Well,
there you go. There you go.
See?
Yeah, but I'm so looking forward to 23. Like, I remember walking out of there, jumping in the cab, and then heading to the airport and being like, "Holy shit! Can we fast forward 364 days and go directly to the next ThetaCon?" Because
there's two types of exactly. There's two types of people. There's the people that went to ThetaCon, and then there's the people that didn't go to ThetaCon. And I'd rather be in this group right now. And
I wholeheartedly agree. And dude, to be honest, like, I had questions just like anybody else, right? A lot of it was answered by just seeing and hearing what Andrea had to say, what Wes had to say, what
Wes
everyone
won, obviously.
Right. Especially when it came to, I can't remember if it was on Saturday or Sunday. I think it was a Saturday. But anyways, when Mitch and Jay came on, and they were doing those, yes. And I think that didn't get as much attention as it should for the general community, because you had to kind of be there. Like, I know they weren't in person, but you had to be there to get that direct sense of what they were talking about, and just their body language, the movements, just what they were saying. You could tell that they weren't hiding anything. They weren't keeping anything back that was negative to the company. You know what I'm saying? The only stuff they would hold back is just like, hey, well, there's NDAs to respect here. There's a lot of people don't understand what it is to run a business, and especially of that magnitude, where they're trying to really be on their best behavior when it comes to SEC and stuff like that, right? So I understand a lot of it. I understand, and the answers that they gave, some of them seemed like there was no, to the casual listener, some of it seemed like there wasn't that much meat on the bone. But at the end of the day, it's like, no, if you really listen to what he said, it spoke volumes. You know what I mean? And then there was a little bit of teaser announcements about an AI company or health type stuff. But
Yep.
like some people had like Katy Perry questions and all that, and I get it. Like fuck, I was
Yeah.
I was one of those people that bought in and all that. But even then, like I don't know if it's because I like to play devil's advocate or what, but I understand that as well. I understand that side of the metal. Like a company, like she has probably zero say in, not zero say. You can say yes or no, but you know what I mean. Like everyone else takes care of that for you. You just sign the piece of paper, said yeah, choice A,
Right.
choice B, choice C. Okay,
Yeah.
let's go with choice B. Boom, done. And she probably never thought anything about it after. She's got like 1,000 other things on the go. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
I get the emotion, and whether it be negative or positive, most of it was negative when it's been a while now. And like I can relate with that and I can understand it. But at the end of the day, it's there's a lot more going under the hood than people understand and know, right? It's not just NFTs and NFT project, and like a lot of these people are running actual businesses, right? And they have to answer to others and blah 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 blah,
Yep. No, for sure. Yeah. I mean, can't please everybody. And
No, exactly.
Yeah.
And then you got shills, and not shills, but you got those people that are like, I don't know, man, like
yeah, the trolls. Yeah.
trolls. Exactly. They're upset with the world. And even then, I still try to. Some of them I just won't interact with whatsoever. But a lot of the other time, it'll just be like, you know what? You just said something pretty shitty. You just like attacked the main people of the platform. So basically, like in my mind, like you're written off now. But you know what? You've said other things in the past that are okay. That makes sense. Maybe you're having a shit day, whatever the case may be. I try to diffuse it with my words in a certain way, right? You give a little bit of validity to what they're saying, so it's not just completely black and white. And then you kind of be like, but hey, listen, maybe you shouldn't go about it this way. Like fucking, like, where's your brain at? Like, use your head a little bit. Like in the real world, you're gonna bust into a fucking, you're gonna go bust into some company's office and just start spewing your shit everywhere and calling everyone out and swearing at everybody. Like, you're gonna get kicked out. You're gonna get kicked out, man, and you'll be told not to come back. So, I think people have gotten. I can't remember where this quote's from, but people have gotten way too comfortable with talking shit online and not getting punched in the face for it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like, so, not to bring violence to the table, but it's yeah. Thankfully, we don't have too much of those, right, on our network.
Yeah, you gotta mute a few, and then cleans it up quite a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
And then ignore the rest of it, basically. But
Yep.
hey, man, I really appreciate you joining us. It was great to kind of dig into some of your projects that you got going on, and I appreciate what you're doing in the community.
Thank you. No, I really appreciate it, and time flew, but yeah, it was my pleasure. I'm really happy you guys kind of reached out, because I'll be honest with you, I was about to. I've been listening to the last few podcasts there, and I was
Nice.
like, you know what? I kind of want to talk to these guys. So
Nice.
the fact that you guys reached out meant a lot to me, and it would definitely need to stay in touch.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And if you got something new coming up or whatever, you want to get on here again, then open invite for sure.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And Mags, I know what you do in the background, so
Thank you.
Good to go. And we'll talk a little offline there.
Yeah, it was great hearing from you. Even though I didn't get to talk a
Thank
lot,
you.
And don't take that any which way. You've been on our list for a while anyway, so
Okay.
it's just it's
Thank you.
difficult with different personalities like Popper being a diva.
Always blaming the big guy.
Yeah.
No, keep doing what you're doing, guys. It's awesome. And on my end, I'll try to promote you guys a little bit more too on the platforms that I have, because what you guys are doing is pretty good. I'm impressed with the. I haven't listened to everything, so I'm kind of trying to catch up a little bit on. Sometimes there's little inside jokes and shit that I don't understand, but I'm no, I love you guys, and I'll definitely you guys are on the radar for sure. I
Awesome,
appreciate
Thanks,
I appreciate
man.
what you do for the community.
Same here. You're a good
Get that
guy,
guy
and yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
So,
Appreciate it.
If we can help out at all too, then here we are.
Okay. No, that's awesome. Thanks, guys.
Great. All right. Have a great night, man. Tk you.
You as well.
Take
Enjoy
care.
the rest of your evening.
All right. You too.
Bye.
Later.
Ooh, Papa
have been listening to the Pops and Mags Pinecast. Music provided by Sushi Cat. Like what you hear? Send that cat a treat at feedthecat.theta. Pops and Mags is a scumbag hat production in association with Kyle's Hot Tub.